Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of College Hockey Talk. On today's episode of the podcast, we are joined by sophomore from the Maine women's hockey team, Mira Seregély. Mira, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. And how's everything going?
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm doing all right. Getting ready for spring break. It's going to be awesome.
Yep, I just had my final class today, so I'm already in spring break. So I'm pretty excited about that. I need
Oh,
the
good
week
for
off.
you.
It's been a very stressful past couple of weeks with all the schoolwork going on for me.
Oh, definitely. Good for you. I have one more exam and then ready to rest.
Well, you just ended your sophomore season, so I just sort of want to talk to you about that and then work all the way up throughout your career. So, how would you evaluate your team's performance this year? I know it's not what you guys wanted, but did you learn anything from this season that you think is going to benefit yourself for your upperclassmen years?
Yeah, definitely. It was a different year than I was used to last year. Much more new staff, new teammates, new feeling. And you're not a freshman anymore. That's always a new feeling. I would have loved for us to make it farther in the season, but I'm still happy what we did. I still feel like each and every one of us improved as much as we can, and then we're gonna try again next year. Just keep going, have to keep working.
So let's start off the podcast, I guess, talking
Yeah.
about the beginning of your hockey career and kind of working all the way up to where you are today with Maine. So, doing research on yourself, you're obviously from Budapest, Hungary. So, talk about growing up there and how did you start playing hockey?
Yes, I started playing hockey because of my brother. He also plays hockey, but he plays at home in Hungary. So he got into hockey because he went to a skating lesson at home, and then there was hockey practice there, and they invited him to join. So when I was around 3 or 4, I went with him and my parents to go to practice, and then they offered me, even as a girl, to why don't you just try it? And then I wasn't into it at first, but it got better, and then I was just like, why not? Sticking into the sport, I kind of like it. It's good. It'll be good for me.
What's the culture like in Hungary regarding hockey? Because I feel like it's growing. But I'm curious, being a player in that hockey culture, what's it like? Because I don't know anything about Hungary except for the song Budapest. That's about
Yeah,
it.
it's funny because hockey is definitely not as big as here. Um, we have other sports that has much more like knowledge around people, like soccer, for example. It's pretty common for people to play soccer there. So it's actually getting bigger. Men's hockey is not doing bad actually. They're getting more recognition. I would say girls still need some time, but now that this is our third year in actually the top division for the World Championship, it gets more hype a little, so more people are seeing it. I would say I didn't have a hard time like playing hockey because we do have facilities, we do have teams. The different parties is like how many people play it and how much money goes into it, but definitely going. I hope it will get to be somewhat bigger. We are not the biggest country with the winter sports, not at all, but it's great to see that community is growing always.
Who was your favorite player growing up, or did you have one? And what was it like watching them play?
Okay, so I follow the NHL since I was little. My family always loved major sports, so actually my favorite was Crosby. I don't know why. My brother is a Caps fan, so it's different for everyone in the family. But I always loved him watching him play. Always loved watching NHL in period, especially when I had the time. So, but also I did love watching some older women girls who might not be in the national team anymore, might be still playing because they were like the girls that like I could be them one day playing for the national team. It's always great to meet them.
Yeah, no, Crosby's starting to grow on me because obviously he
Oh,
broke my heart in the Olympics in 2010 when Canada
yeah.
scored that goal against Team USA. But he seems like such a great person and such a great leader. And I think what's impressive about him is just how good he is even today as like in his mid 30s. And I think that just
Oh
takes
yeah.
so much talent to consistently be good and be in your prime, even when you're in your middle of 30s when players start to tail off a little bit.
Oh, oh, definitely. I don't know, like I love watching them play, especially not gonna lie, that 2010 Olympic Games for me, I had nobody to cheer for. I was just like happy to watch the game, so it was a very good game. No connection to Canada or US, but I love watching Mike Davis play too. I think he's awesome. That guy's very, very good. And some others too. But it's always good to look back to some people in Hungary too that like closer to me in the sense that they're like where I come from, especially.
Now, before college hockey, you played for various teams in Hungary before heading off to the Ontario Hockey Academy. How did you get the opportunity to come to North America and play for Ontario Hockey Academy? And what led to your decision, I guess, to sort of pursue college hockey?
Yeah, it was also my dream, always my dream to kind of like play at like college hockey. It's like one of the highest levels for girls. I know there's the PHF that you can play off, but I always wanted to like I was like NCAA and college hockey. That's like also always a big step, and that would make help me with my education too, because it doesn't come hand in hand in Hungary when you go to university to play ice hockey. So it was always my dream. So when I played U18 World Championship, started playing it, so was old enough to play it. Um, I got a message from I think one or two like people about inviting me to like try and play in Canada and different places, like these academies and whatever. I don't even know how that worked yet. I was around like 14 years old. Showed my parents. I wasn't even sure if it was true, but what was it be like? So we looked into it, and I didn't say yes at first because I was still 14. We didn't think it's gonna be like just for me to go out in Canada and the other part of the world trying to live. You're only 14 years old. It's hard to think about. It's hard to let me go, but we kept in contact with one of the coaches there, staff members, and I we came to an agreement when I was like 16. I will enter again, like make the decision if I really want to go out and play, and hopefully help my career in the way that I could play college hockey. And I said yes. It was a very hard decision. It was not easy, but I was like, I want to follow my dreams. So I will do that. I will try to go into Canada and see what I make of it.
Talk about your experience with that academy and
Yeah.
how it helped prepare you for college hockey, and what's the best memory you have when you look back on those days?
It was very hard at first, the whole thing. It's always not easy leaving your home, going somewhere new and trying to fit in everywhere. And but I wanted to do this for myself. I wanted to figure out how I can enjoy, and I wanted to get to a college somewhere in the U.S. After I finish my high school years. So I stick there. I actually started to enjoy it after like a few weeks. Obviously, started feeling less homesick. Um, we started getting into games too, which helped a lot. So that like you get to play, you get to distract yourself. So one of my favorite memories would be, I think it was like the first biggest tournament. I was in Stony Creek that we went to around like September or October or something. It was like the first like tournament that we were participating in, and it was just like, okay, I can finally can do what I came here for, and I want to do this. I also get to see what it's like to play in tournaments in Canada and with other teams. It was just awesome. Uh, Playing with my team, who I get to know before that already. We got to get to know each other. We practiced together. So the first year was a very experimental year. It was very new for me, but I started to enjoy it, especially by the end, and it was pretty great. I made some great memories. Went to quite a few places in the US and Canada, so I really enjoyed that.
And obviously, how did you adjust to the culture here in North
Oh,
America versus Hungary? Obviously, you said it was very difficult at first, but how did you get used to it? And I guess what's the biggest culture shock that you had?
Um, I I had help from staff, coaches, and people there. They had some experiences with people who are not from North America, not exactly from Hungary, but not from North America also. And I had a lot of help from my family. I know they weren't there, but I talked to them a lot, which really helped. Um, Getting used to everything. Cultural shock would be, I don't know, like I can't believe how many fast food restaurants are around here. I'm sorry. Like we don't have that much at
Yeah.
home. Also, like just the space. Everything is so much bigger here. I grew up in Budapest, which is a city, but Hungary itself is not a big country. So the amount of land, the amount of space here they have everywhere in the US too, actually, not just in Canada, is just crazy for me. Also, the people are just like they're very nice, but some of them really are like what I've seen in movies, which never thought it's true, but it's just funny to me.
Yeah, especially here out in New England. I think we're nice people, but we're honest sometimes, maybe a little bit
Oh
too
yeah,
much. So,
yeah.
I'm used to. I like it because I feel like I'd rather have someone tell me the truth than like make something up. But I feel like it's definitely a little bit of a culture shock for someone that
Oh
isn't
yeah.
from here.
Yeah. I always usually what I think about is the if I make them go back to Hungary, what kind of shock they will have, and that always makes me feel better to know that oh my god, it's not unusual. Now it's for me because I came here, but if they would go home, they would be so lost. It's just
Yeah, no, I definitely would not know what to do if I was in Hungary. So, but I feel like as after a few months, I feel like I would get used to it though.
you would everybody would. The language no, but everything else they would.
Now, talk a little bit about your recruitment process to Maine. What was that like for yourself, and what made you want to go there versus the schools you might have looked at?
Mm-hmm. So I started to get uh calls, talks with coaches since not long into the year. So I managed to keep in contact with quite a few of them. Also, the staff helped me how to like, is it like contact the coaches too if I wanted to, how to keep uh talking to them and everything. So I was it was around like January, February. I think it was January when we started talking about the coaches about me visiting somewhere. And Maine just happened to be the first one I actually managed to go there with the schedules work and everything. So I visited them and I actually quite liked it. It was very new the whole process to me, but I really liked it. So I was gonna go back. I had another tournament in Washington, and then next part was I had to go home for World Championship, but and I was planning to come back and visit some other places too. But COVID hit that March when I was home, so I actually couldn't come back at all. So it was crazy because of the borders closing with everything closing. I had a deadline at May from the offer I got, but I still was like wanted to uh, go some other places to see some other schools, maybe have a where can I choose from, obviously. But everything like became uncertain with COVID. Nobody could go anywhere, and I didn't know if I could go back to Canada for my next year. I didn't even know how I'm gonna get my stuff back from Canada for the summer. So the offer from Maine was there, obviously, and I quite like Maine. It was a good offer. I I was like, college hockey could be around the corner. Do I want to give that up? Do I not want to give that up with this uncertain situation that's here? So I decided to go for it. That's what I wanted. That's what I always wanted, and I I actually did not regret it. Like maybe the circumstances would have been a little better sometimes because obviously COVID wasn't that very good for anyone. But I was I wanted to take the chance I have there because I didn't know if I could get it again. So and I ended up in a place that I actually enjoyed. I enjoyed visiting, and now I'm here. Now I'm playing. I'm studying. This is what I always wanted.
Obviously, it helps because at Maine, I think you guys have the most European players in
Yeah.
compared to the other Hockey East teams. So it must be nice to sort of have players that you can relate to as well.
Oh yeah. it helped me in the visit too, and it helped me in my freshman year too. I know there are some other Europeans there, but also the US and Canadian girls are always all very welcoming too. They help you get into the culture here, but the Europeans always know what it's like to be away from home.
Now, talk about the biggest adjustment you had to make to college
Oh yeah.
hockey from juniors to college hockey. Was it the speed of the game or just the physicality? Because especially as a defender, I feel like you guys take so many big checks. But I always admire you. You always get up and you're one of the toughest
Yeah,
players in the conference. So
yeah.
I want to tip my cap to you on that.
Definitely the speed of the game is something I found it like, oh my God, you have to be there playing it to know what it feels like. I know it's actually a little different in every conference that they have in Division One, but definitely was much faster, twice as much faster as home, and just much faster from Canada. The physicality, I got used to some in Canada. There's not much at home, but it's definitely more here pushing roughness, like not crazy anything, not like crazy fights or anything, but that was definitely something to get used to. Also, just like college life, college NCAA, I remember being very nervous before my first game. I don't know, it was just a new feeling. So, uh, and also playing in a new team again, like with other new players, but still like playing in a team where everybody knows basically everyone except you and your classmates, it was also a big adjustment.
Yeah, I feel like Maine's the toughest, one of the toughest teams in hockey because every time you guys get hit, you always get right back up, which
Oh
I have a lot
yeah,
of respect for. It doesn't matter how big the hit is, too. So I want to
oh
just
yeah.
mention that to you. But talk about what it's like playing in Hockey East and just the competition you face every weekend.
I like hockey. It's a, for me. It's always very great playing a game. So I always love playing the game. And hockey is just I get to play teams that are in the New England area. That are, well, nothing is very close to Maine, but they are the kind of closest. I feel like there's some pretty great competition there. I always feel like it depends on which year, how's the year going for each team, but there's like uh, sometimes can be great competition between which teams are doing great, except maybe Northeastern a little. But other than that, um, there are some games when like it's going good for you, and then it's not for the other. Sometimes it just only takes one or two goals to make or break a game, and I know this year there were some very close points, especially in the middle of the standings, where we were. So it's always great to see some competitiveness around here.
Now, talk about how you balance both hockey and academics during a
So
hockey season.
um, I kind of make a schedule around my days, what I do usually. We get told when to schedule our classes and when we have practices. So I usually know it's either morning or afternoon. So this year we had morning practices, afternoon classes. So I usually just like, okay, so morning is practice. I'm dialed in on that, and then after that's done, I can focus on academics for the rest of the day. And Friday, Saturday are usually the games days. I try not to do too much work on those days. Obviously, that's sometimes impossible because I have deadlines to meet, but I try to not do too much because usually those are days I'm focusing on hockey. And then Sundays are rest days, which I personally try not to do too much. I like a rest day for myself and keep catching up on any studying I have left to do. But those are the days that I just like sometimes hang out with my friends, sometimes not even do anything. Those are actually the days I mostly manage to talk to my family at home because uh, because of the time difference and everything, it's kind of hard to call them during the day. So I usually Sundays I get to do that. It's pretty awesome. And I usually have that schedule made up for like okay for the season, and then now that it's changed, now there's no season, it's a little different, but still getting used to it.
Yeah, I always think it's good to have rest days just because it's good to reset your mind and body, obviously, from a long week. And I think that benefits you for a game, especially when it's
Oh yeah,
third period in the second game on a Saturday. though that those
Oh
rest days
yeah,
really benefit you when you're like, and those conditioning drills as well really benefit you, and I feel like it gives you more energy compared to the other team if you do it right.
yeah, definitely. But especially if you have a later game, maybe on a
Hmm.
Saturday for some reason, you always get to have something to mess up it.
Now, during your freshman year, your team beat Boston College in the hockey's
It,
quarterfinals. I want to ask you about that upset and what it was like beating BC on the road.
that was actually, I think, my first playoff game, first college playoff game. So I remember we went to BC and we know we had the chance because we were close in standings. So we actually went there and we saw that we are the underdogs. We are playing in their home ice. We just got to put everything out there and do what we can. So we went and managed to play like that, managed to beat them. It was hard work, and I remember everybody was so relieved after the game because it just felt great beating a team in their home ice in the playoffs, especially because not many people expected us. It's always great to actually uh, make an upset against a team like that, or any team actually. But I felt so happy because I completed my first playoff game and we won. So it was just amazing. And then we managed to go to the semis.
Talk about what it's like playing at Alphon and just
Oh
the
yeah.
that arena because I think it's one of the best in Hockey East.
I really like our rink. It's definitely different from what I'm used to at home because at home sometimes we do have facilities but we don't have some, and I like that Alphon has kind of a big space uh around, like it's very wider area. It's not so the stands and everything, you do have some space. Uh Obviously it's just it's I heard it's a pretty kind of old arena, like kind of famous. It's been standing for a while, so I know that it has history too. Like not the most oldest, but it does have history, so it's always great. And it's our home rink. It's always brings comfort to play there. It's always more comfortable. We always want to do well there. It's just always is amazing.
Now you had a new coach this year. What's it like being a player in the middle of a coaching transition, and how did you handle that? And what's it like playing under Coach Engstrom? And has that been an adjustment? From all the players I've talked to, she's been a wonderful addition to the team. So I just want to hear your perspective on that.
It was definitely like hard a little. It's not easy to learn about the news that your coach is leaving and then you're getting a new one. So I was actually like it was during the summer and I that's when I knew, like I got the info that they are leaving. So kind of had like a month to get a new coaches, and then I wasn't even here when she first arrived because I had wasn't hasn't arrived yet. So it was definitely somewhat new. I remember introducing myself and didn't know what to expect yet too much because it was a new feeling. But then we started as we started practicing, as we started the season, we kind of like uh get more comfortable with each other and get to know each other. What do we expect? What should we expect from her? We try to show her like who we are. What can we do? Obviously, we had a whole new staff too, so um, had to get used to that. But it was definitely an adjustment for me. Not easy always because I had to realize that she won't always do what the old coaches does because it's a natural thing. Like she's a different person. But I do feel like she could bring great things to this team. And now that her first season is over, I'm ready for see what she brings in next.
So you guys pulled off some really big upsets this past season. You guys beat Northeastern and Clarkson, just to name a few. Talk about those upsets and what they meant for your team.
Northeastern was a very big one. I remember we played home ice, and obviously Northeastern. longtime hockey's reigning champion, beating them. It's always great. I think that was just the game that we managed to give our best. We played well, we executed the system, we did whatever we could. We didn't let them score. So I think an awesome feat against Northeastern. Was with many great players, a lot. So I know that was just I remember coming back, everybody came back and it was just like screaming, singing. It just it brought us it showed us actually that we can do that. Like if you play good, if you play like that, we can beat a lot of teams. That we can play just as well as everybody else. We don't need to be scared. We just proved with that game we proved that to ourselves. Clarkson one was a little different. We were on the road. It was a very far away from us. Obviously, it's also from a they're also from a different conference, ECAC, not hockey. So I remember our first game wasn't that good. Everybody was just not too focused. We didn't do that well in that game. So our coach had a long talk with us after the game that we need to do better. We need to change things because this is not who we are. This is not what we came here for. So tomorrow there's a new chance. You can show them who you are. So we did that. We went out there and we played played very good. We did our best and we did manage to beat them, which was I think was very awesome. Also, I heard Clarkson's very good too. Uh, they might be the final. I don't know if they win or not, but they were in the final of the ECAC. So it's always great to beat teams like that, upsetting them.
Now, what are your goals and expectations for next season?
Um, I know this was mostly a transition year for us because new coaching staff, new everything. So um, next year is gonna be a little different now because we finally know our coaches. We had them for a while. Know our staff. Uh, I'm gonna be a junior upperclassman, which is crazy to think about for me, but I feel like we have our core members right now in the team, and we just want to bring the best that we can and show the incoming freshmen and transfers that what the team's about, what can we do, uh, what we want to accomplish, and then just get ready for that season, dialed in, trying to give our best, hopefully getting uh, longer into the playoffs.
Obviously, being an upperclassman, what type of leadership are you going to try to bring to the team? Are you going to be vocal or lead by example?
I would say we should do both, and we will try to do both. I know that to me as a freshman, it meant a lot when uh, the upperclassmen talks to me, help me along, but also just seeing them in a game and trying leading the team, showing them that like they keep playing strong and that they're trying. That makes you want to try too. So that's what I will try to do. Uh, just even if it's not going too well or you don't feel like you just keep trying. And then it's always good to give some encouragement to everyone else on the team. So being local doesn't have to be always a lot, but it should mean something. So like all of us will try that, but uh, hopefully it will help them.
Now, talk about the biggest improvement you've made to your game since your freshman year.
Oh, I definitely got more confident, both off the ice too, on the ice. But to me playing, it was just I felt more comfortable and confident in my on the ice on the team. I felt I don't know. It's just I'm not a freshman anymore. That like gave me some strength that I'm a sophomore. I'm not the newest in the team. I know these people, and also new coaches came in, so I kind of wanted to show them what I can do. And obviously got stronger faster. It always come with it. I feel like, but I would say more confident and comfortable.
Now, we're now in a segment I like to call the non-hockey segment, where I ask you some
Oh
non-hockey
yeah,
questions just to get to know you a little bit more
well,
off the ice.
okay, for sure.
First one is what music do you like to listen to?
I listen to like kind of like pop music, today's pop music. Those are one of my favorites. I'm not the biggest fan of like rap music. I do have some I like hip hop, rap. Those are not bad. And I learned to love country in the US. Wasn't I didn't know too much about the country at home, but since I came here, the people showed me some good stuff, and I figured out that I kind of like it. Not bad.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I interned for a baseball team a couple of summers ago, and a lot of the guys are from the South and West Coast, and country music's much bigger there than it is here
Oh
in New
yeah,
England. And it was cool getting to learn that style of music because I never really listened to too much. And now I consider myself a semi-country fan. I wouldn't say I'm a huge
oh
fan of
yeah,
it, but I do enjoy a certain number of artists.
yeah. No, I don't know actually much artists. I don't even know the names of the song, but I know when it comes up or they put it on the car whenever and I like to listen to them quite a lot. It's pretty soothing. I don't know. It has a different type.
What is your most embarrassing hockey moment?
Okay, I don't know. This was what the first one I was thinking of was I was very young and it was like practice. Uh, they were practicing. I was like literally like 5 years old or something, and I know we were just playing and uh we had to roll over on the ice and we were just like smaller, like I don't even know for why. But I couldn't do it. I was trying to do it for a long time. I couldn't go on. Everybody was just looking at me, and I felt so embarrassed because I like, what can I do? What everybody else can do. So I kind of started crying a little too, and it was just not a great feeling. I don't know why. That was the first one that popped into my head, and like I tried to forget about the memory, but I can't.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I fell on the bench one time during practice doing
Oh
backward
yeah,
skating drills, and that's always ingrained in my mind. But at least you're having a lot of success in hockey today, so I feel like that sort of makes up for
yeah, it does. It does. I hope everybody else forgot about it.
it. I assume they did, but I can't guarantee that, unfortunately. Now, who has the best style on the Maine women's hockey team? I think you do, Mira. I love the outfits that you
Oh
come up
yeah,
with,
thank
but
you,
besides yourself, who do you think has the best style?
thank you. Um, I could say a few people. Uh, I know Morgan and Ali Chimper has pretty good style, and also my roommate actually Emma Lang had also an amazing style. But I feel like if I didn't say Alyssa Rubel and she would hear this interview, she would get mad at me. So Alyssa definitely one of my favorites. I would say them, but everybody has different styles. I like everyone. I don't know why.
Yeah, I like the European style because you don't really see it
Oh
too
yeah,
often, and I feel like you guys do a good job at showing that off. So that's just a little tip of my cap for you on that as well.
oh yeah. Oh, we'll remember that. We'll keep bringing that next time.
Now, what is the most interesting thing you've read or seen this week?
Um, I was doing a English assignment. I had to do some research on it, actually, on like it was mostly about the English language and how it was how it can be different in places. I don't know, like it was example of Sri Lanka, I think, and some other places and like how people talk with different accents, different use different words, I think. I don't know, it just popped out to me because I was like, I never even thought of that. And I know how my language is very different from anything else. I was just thinking that English has also different aspects, which is crazy to me.
Yeah, I know language is definitely interesting. I would like to learn another language at some point in
Oh
my
yeah.
life, probably Spanish because I feel like that would
Oh yeah,
benefit me because I think
for sure.
outside of English, I think most people in the US probably speak Spanish. So that would be pretty cool
Definitely.
and beneficial to myself if I'm ever in a situation where I need to speak another language. So hopefully one day, that's one of my life goals.
Spanish is pretty cool. I learned Spanish. Now I forgot about it, but I learned Spanish for 3 years. It was very nice. Don't recommend Hungarian though. Never learned that. No.
I
It's
feel like it would be
hard.
I feel like I would never need to use it though. So that's the
No,
thing.
you
But if
wouldn't. It's only in Hungary. Nobody else speaks it. So, but it's really
so
hard. So let's see
yeah.
other options.
Now, last non-hockey question is if you could have lunch with anyone in the world, who would it be and why?
Okay, I was thinking about this a lot because I could say quite a few people, but I cannot. I don't know. One of them is definitely uh Beyonce and Taylor Swift. I don't know. I love both of them. I think they're just awesome uh human beings. And I like Tom Holland. So I don't know. He's British too. It's nice. I feel like he's a very funny person. So them definitely.
Awesome. Well, getting back to some hockey questions now. First one is, what should be done to help grow women's hockey from your perspective?
Um, what I what was the question again? Sorry.
What should be done to help grow women's
Oh, it
hockey
should be done.
from?
Okay. I feel like uh we are promoting it, starting to promoting more. I feel like that's definitely something that should be done a lot, so people can see it, especially with social media in here. Like people are doing it. Um, uh, I hope it can be done that um bringing it like bringing the option that you can play hockey to more countries in Europe too, or somewhere else too. Uh, US and Canada, I know, have a lot of great women's hockey players who are uh, very who are speaking their mind about it, and I hope they can help it too. And I do think that bringing awareness is something that can help it a lot.
One last hockey question I want to ask you. I feel like I have to. Is you got to play in the last two World Championships with
Oh yeah,
Hungary. I thought that was really cool. Just talk
oh
a little
yeah,
about your experience there. And I think those jerseys are pretty sick as well. So
oh
want to
yeah.
say that
Thank
as
you.
well.
Yeah, this is from 2021. It's I had the other one too, but it's at home right now. It's not here. Um, no, it was amazing. I was actually part of the team in 2019 when we made it when we won the division and made it up to the top division. So um, it was a little different both of them because it was played in the summer both times. So I would say that's something new and kind of crazy to think about playing an ice hockey championship in the summer, but it was definitely something that helped uh, women's hockey in Hungary, bringing more people get to see it, more people uh, get to check out even just some pictures and videos. And I know all of us who were in those championships like really enjoyed it. We loved playing there. We hope to stay there this year too. It's just a great feeling. I think it was a dream for a lot of us, especially the older girls who've been playing in the national team for years.